Welcome back, UPSC aspirants, to another crucial explainer here at Rungta IAS Academy. Today, we're dissecting a really critical, highly relevant topic, the digital Leviathan, AI, unchecked power, and global governance. Hello, everyone. Listen, if you're serious about your general studies papers, you'll want to pay close attention to this one. This analysis hits right at the core of GS Paper 2, specifically governance and international relations, as well as GS Paper 3, which covers science and tech and internal security. Make sure to jot down the frameworks we're discussing today because they are literally going to elevate your mains answer writing. All right, let's dive right in.
Okay, here's a quick syllabus roadmap for this explainer. First up is the AI regulatory vacuum, followed by the myth of self-regulation, then security and surveillance risks, the Thatcherite trap, and finally, we'll look at global governance and India's stance.
Spot on, ma'am. And keep in mind, this structure is exactly how you should organize your thoughts to build a high-scoring mains answer blueprint on any AI governance question.
So, starting with Section 1, the AI regulatory vacuum. When we talk about unregulated AI outpacing state control, we're not talking about some speculative sci-fi movie. We are talking about severe, real-world consequences that desperately demand legislative intervention. The chilling reality here is that AI systems have already played a massive role in target selection during warfare. Take the tragic example at a primary school in Minab, Iran. Target selection software utilized by American forces led to roughly 175 to 180 casualties, and absolutely heartbreakingly, mostly young girls. For your GS3 paper, you must cite this as a major international security paradigm shift. Unchecked AI isn't just a glitch, it is a deadly weapon. Right, which brings us to Section 2, the myth of self-regulation. This is a key debate for GS Paper 2, corporate versus state governance. We constantly hear these massive tech giants claiming they can easily regulate themselves, but we really have to ask, is this corporate facade of ethics actually enough? To answer that, you should definitely use this specific example in your exam. Anthropic, which is the company behind the AI model Claude, has this document created by their resident philosopher Amanda Askell. It's called Claude's Constitution, though employees casually refer to it as the Soul Doc. It basically provides a set of moral precepts to keep the model broadly safe and ethical, stopping it from doing things like helping someone build biological weapons. But here is where you fletch those extra marks in your mains evaluation. We've got to critically compare corporate self-regulation against statutory regulation. Think about it. Relying on these corporations essentially shifts the burden of public accountability, which, by the way, is the absolute bedrock of our constitutional democracies, entirely onto private entities. We have to view these corporate efforts with a healthy dose of skepticism. Let's quickly move to Section 3, security and surveillance risks. Here, we're diving much deeper into the GS Paper 3 syllabus, specifically looking at internal security, cybersecurity, and the kind of surveillance capabilities wielded by big corporations like Palantir. You absolutely need to know this keyword for your exam, predictive policing. So what is it? It basically involves profiling and tracking individuals using AI software. And multiple investigations have shown that this technology is deeply problematic. It can be racially charged, highly biased, and frankly, it operates with a total disregard for privacy. This is a direct breach of our fundamental civil liberties. Exactly, sir. And aspirants, when you're structuring your answers on the negative impacts of AI, you should definitely cite the corporation Palantir. Their software, which is widely used by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, enhances brazen surveillance and really normalizes predictive policing across U.S. states. While it was initially argued that it serves the public good, critics are constantly warning that it increasingly breaches civil liberties. This is a severe threat to constitutional rights on a global scale. Moving on to Section 4, the Thatcherite trap. I want to introduce a really high-value conceptual framework here that will absolutely make your GS Paper 2 answers stand out from the crowd. So, writer Cory Doctorow uses this concept called the Thatcherite trap. This actually stems from Margaret Thatcher's famous maxim that there is no alternative to the neoliberal world order. And today, we are kind of passively accepting that there's no alternative to this unchecked technological expansion by private monopolies. So don't just write AI is bad in your exam. Actually use the term Thatcherite trap to show the examiner you fully grasp the ideological surrender happening globally. Brilliantly explained, ma'am. Now, moving to Section 5, global governance and India. We're bringing the focus back to international relations and our specific policy stance. This is exactly how you must conclude your GS2 and GS3 answers. Let's do a quick comparative analysis for your mains copy. While the US and the West are largely unwilling to regulate, relying mostly on those corporate claims we discussed, the rest of the world is taking a different path. The EU has introduced its Artificial Intelligence Act, Brazil is pushing hard for human rights protection, and India, interestingly, we've adopted a relatively soft regulatory regime. Our governance guidelines, released in November 2025, do recognize the problems, but they currently stop short of recommending strict legislative intervention.
Ma'am, so how should you conclude an essay on this? With a powerful, authoritative quote. Memorize this exact statement made by Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva at the AI Impact Summit in New Delhi back in February 2026. He rightly pointed out that, and I quote, "Big tech needs regulation with the imperative of safeguarding human rights in the digital sphere, promoting information integrity, and protecting our country's creative industries." It just perfectly summarizes the critical need for multilateral political will.
We're going to wrap up our explainer today by posing this exact question to you. Imagine this as a highly probable scenario for your UPSC personality test. What does a just future with AI actually look like?
Spot on. Will you fall into the Thatcherite trap and just accept corporate monopolies, or will you actively advocate for democratic statutory accountability? Take some time to formulate your balanced stance, aspirants. Thank you so much for joining us at Rungta IAS Academy. Keep studying hard, and we'll see you in the next explainer.